Hello, and welcome back to All Things Love. Please like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to all of the beautiful souls in the world. So listen, this is a different type of story that I'm about to share with you. It's a personal story, and I feel like I'm just gonna mix it up because a lot of times we do things and we think that we do them in the name of love, but sometimes we hurt ourselves because of love. This is about a young lady who was a friend who unknowingly allowed a witch to move into her home. Now, back in the day, this back in the 90s, um, I used to be so gullible because I didn't know a lot of spiritual things. I was always highly intuitive, but I don't know, I just I just could see things. And I am a Scorpio, by the way. If you're interested in the tarot, by the way, check out Brown Eyes Intuitions. I do read tarots over there as well as at Truth Revealer 3363. I will leave that in the description box below. So, love is a spiritual thing, right? And a lot of times we be led by our hearts and not by our intuitions and by our better judgments. But yes, this particular young lady that I was drawn to back in the day because I was young and very kind of green. But once again, I was highly intuitive, but I pretty much stayed to myself. So there's one particular lady. Um, she was very very loving, very giving, very nurturing. She would do things like I think she was a Sagittarius. She would do things like buy up a whole lot of food or all the food that she got. She'd go cook it and go have barbecues and just invite people over. And then a couple of days later, she don't have anything to eat. She's the type of person that would give her last to people, and the same people wouldn't do the same for her. And so she was cool to me one on one is how I got to know her. But when other people came around, there was always these different type of energies. And I always found myself leaving early. When the crowd started coming in, I would shy away because she was real, real hood. She was real, real ratchet. She was real, real, she was kind of like an alpha female. She would buy guys. If she liked them, she would pursue them because, at any means necessary, even if it means she got to go in her pocket here. And so but like I said, she would have a lot of get-togethers, and I would like to get out the house, so I would always go over there. But once again, she would have certain questionable people that would come around, and the type of people she would have come around, I couldn't understand how she would feel safe around this type of people here, and so I remember when I think I don't know if it was she had a group of friends. I know she had this one guy, and I think he was kind of like he was homeless, but he was into a lot of things here. And I remember one evening, she was about to have a barbecue, and I was just sitting outside with her in her backyard while she prepped because it wasn't due to start. And so while she was prepping that, and we were sitting back there, was having drinks and we were talking. Here come this two guys and this woman. And when I tell you, like I said, I wasn't tapped in like that, but it's just something about my intuition that always cautioned me. And when I seen those three people come, I just saw witch and warlock. I just saw so much dark energy on them. It scared me. And so as soon as they came, I said, "Well, I'm gonna go." She said, "You finna go?" I'm like, "Yep." And I would always leave because those particular people, it's just something about them that horrified me. It was just like dark energy on them, and I couldn't understand why she didn't see it. And so I remember they had fell out, and she said a guy told her that he was going to, he had put witchcraft all in her home, and um, that he had a way of getting her because she I think she had got a lot of money out of him, and then she left him alone, and she got real sick. And as a friend, I would go over there because at that time, a lot of things, it was like she had just hit rock bottom instantly. She was the type that she worked real hard, but she was into real flashy things. She would have like a Cadillac, like an old school Cadillac, and she'd have it souped up like a dude would. She'd always have all her gold. She had like five necklaces on, and every ring got about two or three. She was just flashy like that. Then when she needed, she'd go to the pawn shop. That's what she would do over and over and over again. And so as the friend that I was, I think her lights had got cut off. It's like it was just bad, and she had one son there. And I went over there, I cleaned up her kitchen. I kind of helped her out. And they began to tell me the stories that's going on in the house because they will, during the day they would blow the candles out. But, she couldn't move. And she said that they was hearing somebody upstairs moving around. And I said, are you sure? She was like, yeah, ask my son. And he was like, yeah. He said, because we heard him coming down the steps. And then we started threatening him. And then it ran back up the steps. She said, we was too scared to go up there to look. And I said, are you serious? She was like, yeah, somebody's in here or somebody's playing with my head. She said, because one day I was here by myself and I started hearing that rumbling. She said it was just going crazy up there. Like it was just running around and just tearing down stuff. And she said, I got scared. And she said, because I heard it running down the stairs. She said, and I jumped up and ran outside and sat in my car. And she said, when I sat in my car, I looked up to the window. Somebody pulled the curtains back. And she said, I'm just scared. And she was sitting up there crying and doing all that. And I didn't know what to tell her because it was a lot. And so I think that she attracted those types of people. And then that woman, I don't know if she lived with her before or after, but she let that woman move in. Now, the woman, she was even more darker to me because not only was she looked like a witch, y'all, she just had that look about her. And she went to church. She was very, very religious-minded. And she had a young boy. And when I tell you I got the Mama Dearest vibe, she had totally emasculated that little child. He was very, very feminine. Now, I'm not talking about the kid. I'm just telling you. He was very feminine to be so young. I think he wasn't no more than about 5 or 6, but he was her. And she said she let that woman move in her house thinking that she was showing her love, and they took over her house. She said she was about to go crazy. She was hearing voices. She said a woman would come stand in her bed and just chant over her, y'all. And she said she felt helpless. She couldn't do nothing. And she didn't know how to get that witch out of her house. She said she was hearing voices. She said she wanted to unalive herself. I don't know how she got that woman out of her house because the last I heard of her, she had called me panicking, said that she needed to get out because she was going crazy. And at this particular time, I had a sister that worked at this upscale hotel, and she had met these guys from out of state, and we were supposed to go on a double date. And I don't know why I did it. I don't know. I was just so foolish, but it's almost like really being sympathetic, and I'm really trying to help her out, and I shouldn't have because it just wasn't the right time. So she wasn't dressed, but she was panicking. I know that wasn't the right time, but I didn't think about it then. So I invited her to come with us up to these guys' suite. We were going to have some drinks, and then we were going to go out to the club. And so she was the odd person here because she had them entities on her. You feel me? It's like she was running from them devils because instead of her getting rid of that woman, they had control of her. That woman, and she said a woman would antagonize her, and her little boy would antagonize her too. They was both chanting and talking crap to her, y'all. But she was about to go crazy, and so I messed around and took her on this quote-unquote date, and they were lighting up their cigars, and she got to complaining about everything that everybody was doing. And then my sister, by her being an Aries, she was clapping back, and she was like, what is with this girl? She can't come in here and tell them what they can't do in their room, and she wasn't dressed right. And so, moral of the story, they end up getting into it, my sister and this girl. And so I ended up missing out on the day because I had to take her home because she showed her tail. And when I think about it, she wasn't mad at us. She was mad at herself because she had to go back home to that witch. And I was thinking, I'm like, well, dang, she didn't have that energy with that woman in her home. Why was she cussing us out? And so I just felt so foolish because I had to distance myself from her. And I remember that night, and my sister was like, I can't believe you let her do that because I had to break them up because I wasn't going to let her fight my sister. And I know my sister wasn't going to back down, so I had to be in the middle of them. We was in the parking lot. Everybody was looking at us. And this girl had them things. The girl had them demons on her. And so she did not want to go back to that house, but I got her out. And by the time I got home, she came back to my house beating on my door and Spirit said, don't let her in. Distance yourself from her. And so I distanced myself from her. And I think years later I heard that she had passed. But, yeah, she had invited that woman in her house. And I'm like, I already saw that she was a witch because I was scared. Like, I was very scary. But that scary kept me protected. But like I said, I got to know her on a one-on-one. When it was just me and her, she was logical. But when she attracted those demons, it's like she attracted them around her. It's like she opened up her door for them, and she She left herself wide open to be taunted and harassed by witches. So once again, a lot of times we think that we're doing the right thing out of the love and the compassion we have, that we totally disregard our own safety. You never know what a person is practicing behind closed doors. Everybody that go to church ain't praying to the spiritual, high vibration, loving God. They're praying to the dark gods here, and it's unfortunate that people open up their doors to strangers. Because would you do that? I'm just saying, she took a lot for granted, and I feel like she paid for it in the end because she left here miserable. But anyway, that's my story. What do you think? Please like, share, and subscribe. This is All Things Love. It's like a lot of times you be wanting to help people, but you got to help them a different way because people bring in spirits with them, y'all. It's about the spiritual realm. A lot of things we don't see unless you tapped into your intuition or your discernment, because somebody else's problem would be your problem. That woman came in the house and dumped all them demons on her. Please like, share, and subscribe.